My husband got injured during his affair trip and was taken to the hospital. The only thing that comes out of his mouth is verbal abuse.
Look at this huge injury. This itching from the bandages is unbearable. Hurry up and wipe my body. Taking care of your husband is a wife's duty.
You say it's a wife's duty to care for her husband? After you cheated on me with my sister? There's no way I can take care of a husband who doesn't even worry about me when I'm sick. I have no obligation to you anymore.
What did you say?
Reaching the peak of his irritation at my words, my husband lashed out, trying to grab me, but he ended up falling out of the bed. The impact seemed to send a sharp pain through his right leg, and he screamed so loudly that it echoed throughout the hospital.
Grace, no, it's not me. The real person isn't me.
Saying that, Emily pulled back the curtain to the bed next to his. The moment I saw who was behind the curtain, it felt like it'd been struck by a blunt object. What? Why? Lying on the bed was none other than that person. I'm Grace, a 28-year-old working professional. After graduating college, I joined a cosmetics company. Working life was far tougher than I imagined, both physically and mentally, but I felt joy in being able to work at the company I'd admired since my school days. As I adjusted to the busy yet fulfilling days, I was introduced to my future husband, Ryan, through my friend. Ryan, who worked for a major company, was an elite graduate of a top-tier university. Sharp, knowledgeable, and trusted by both his juniors and superiors, he was incredibly charismatic. Despite all this, he was down to earth, approachable, and easy to talk to. When I opened up about my work struggles, he listened seriously and gave me precise advice. So, when this incredibly charming Ryan proposed to me, asking to date with marriage in mind, I was so shocked I blurted out. 3 years into our marriage, I'm still steadily continuing my job. While we don't have kids yet, Ryan and I enjoy a happy married life together. My family home, by the way, is about an hour's drive from where we live in downtown New York. My parents always got along well and enjoyed traveling together, a true lovebird couple even in their daughter's eyes. Sadly, my kind dad passed away a few years ago due to illness. At the time, of course, I was heartbroken over my dad's passing, but I was even more worried about my mom being left alone, so I visited home frequently. Coincidentally, not long after my dad's death, my older sister Emily divorced and returned home. Knowing Emily was there gave me peace of mind. So now my husband and I only visit once or twice a year to check in. From the outside, my relationship with Ryan and my family seems perfect, and we appear to be a problem-free couple. But there's one thing that's been bothering me lately. Recently, Ryan has been coming home past midnight more and more often. When I ask him about it, he brushes me off.
We're in the middle of the busy season right now. You work too, Grace, so you should understand what that's like.
Of course, I understand how tough the busy season can be. Stacks of unfinished paperwork, endless phone calls, looming deadlines. Just imagining it gives me a headache. But no matter how busy you've been since we got married, you've never come home this late before. That's why I'm worried.
Geez, even your mom said this, Grace. You worry too much.
He didn't even try to hide his irritated expression, so I decided not to push any further. Alright, sorry for bothering you when you're tired. The bath's ready, so go ahead and relax. Okay, he replied flatly and headed to the bathroom. When did Ryan become so cold? He never acted like that before, even when work kept him busy. Do people really change as their marriage goes on? Even though I still felt uneasy, I tried to push the feelings deep down and headed to the bedroom to get some sleep. As I was walking, I noticed something colorful sticking out of Ryan's bag on the sofa. Even though we're married, I felt hesitant about going through his belongings without permission. But my curiosity got the better of me. The moment I picked it up, the feelings I had just suppressed started to creep back. This is Emily's handkerchief, and it's the one I gave her as a gift. I recognized it immediately. For Emily's birthday last year, I had ordered a custom handkerchief from her favorite brand. I even had her name embroidered on it, and she loved it. Baseless, unpleasant thoughts began swirling in my head, but thinking about it wouldn't solve anything. I had work early the next morning, but I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep until I cleared up this uneasy feeling. Eventually, Ryan came out of the bathroom and entered the bedroom. "Hey Ryan, I'm sorry to bother you before bed, but I just have one question." Ryan looked annoyed but let me continue when I insisted it would be quick. "It's about this." The moment I showed Ryan Emily's handkerchief, I saw the color drain from his flushed face, still red from the bath. "I found this in your work bag. This is Emily's handkerchief, right? Why do you have it?" I got curious because I gave it to her as a gift last year.
This is Emily's. I didn't even notice. I must be borrowed it the last time we went to visit your mom together and forgot to return it.
I see. Then we should make sure to give it back next time we see her. It's one of her favorite things.
Yeah, well, do that. Is that all you wanted to ask? I'm going to sleep now.
Ryan pulled the covers over himself, making it clear he had nothing more to say. But the uneasiness inside me only grew stronger. And in the end, I couldn't fall asleep until dawn. Since that incident, I'd been having trouble sleeping, and eventually, my health started to decline. When I woke up one morning, I could tell without even using a thermometer that I had a fever. My body felt as heavy as lead, and sharp, constant pain radiated from the top of my head. It seemed like I'd caught a cold from pushing my sleep-deprived body to keep up with work and house chores. When I called in sick to my office, they urged me to make sure to visit a doctor. But I didn't have the energy or strength to drive, let alone walk to the clinic. Ryan had already left for the day, so asking him to take me wasn't an option. Left with no choice, I decided to rest in bed for the day. The Ryan I used to know would have taken care of me if this had happened in the past. Thinking about all this made me sad, so I gently closed my eyes to push the feelings out of my head. When I opened my eyes, the evening sun was streaming through the window, illuminating the houseplant by the windowsill. It seemed I had slept for quite a while. Thanks to finally getting some rest after so long, my terrible headache had eased, and I felt refreshed. However, my fever hadn't gone down enough to walk outside, so I decided to ask Ryan to pick up some medicine and groceries for dinner. I felt a bit bad for bothering him since he seemed so busy, but I thought it would be okay to rely on him just this once while I wasn't feeling well, so I called him right away. "Hello, Ryan? It's me."
Oh, Grace, I am still at work. What do you need?
"Oh, Grace." I wanted to say, that's no way to talk to your wife. But I didn't have the energy to argue, so I bit my tongue. "Sorry to bother you while you're busy. I've had a fever since this morning and took the day off work. It hasn't gone down yet, so I can't go shopping. Could you pick some things up on your way home?"
A fever? Oh. Managing your health is part of being an adult, isn't it? Don't you think you're being a bit irresponsible? Anyway, I'm too busy today and can't come home, so go shopping yourself. If you keep relying on people like this, you'll get spoiled. All right, I've got to go. My boss is calling me.
With that, Ryan hung up the phone abruptly, as if to say he didn't have a single second to spare for me. I stared blankly at the phone, listening to the disconnected tone, unable to move for a while. Why would he talk to me like that when I'm sick? No matter how busy he is at work, does he really not want to talk to me that much? When we first got married, he would always worry about me more than anyone else and take care of me when I wasn't feeling well. He would buy pudding and sports drinks from the pharmacy, call my mom to ask what meals she used to make for me when I was sick, and then cook them for me. Why has he gotten so cold? Ryan. Feeling like my fever was rising again, I drank some cold water from the fridge and crawled back under the covers, trying not to think about anything. Ryan didn't come home until late the next night. By then, I had completely recovered and was able to go to work that morning without any issues. Since I was still recovering, I wanted to go to bed early, but I had something I needed to talk to Ryan about, so I waited up for him. The show I wanted to watch had already ended, so I sat watching a boring infomercial when I heard the sound of the door opening. I quickly headed to the front door. Welcome back. Tough day at work?
Yeah.
Dinner is ready. Or take a shower first.
Neither. I'm exhausted. Unlike you, I can't afford to take a day off.
I thought, couldn't you at least worry about your wife's health a little? But after his attitude on the phone yesterday, I wasn't surprised, so it didn't bother me anymore. Sorry to bring this up as soon as you're home, but there's something I need to tell you.
What is it? Make it quick. I want to sleep.
Sure. So, when I went to work today, my boss asked if I could go on a business trip next week. I was hesitant because of everything at home, but it's only for 2 or 3 days, so I agreed. I'll need you to take care of things at home while I'm gone. Since getting married, I have been doing all the housework by myself. I doubted Ryan could even do laundry properly, so I braced myself for whatever sarcastic remark he might throw my way. But his response was unexpected.
A business trip? When exactly?
It starts next Tuesday. I'm not sure about the return date yet. I'll have a meeting with my boss tomorrow to confirm. I'll let you know once it's set.
Tuesday, huh? Got it. Make sure to email me as soon as you know your return date.
With that reminder, he looked slightly pleased as he headed toward the bathroom. Wait, Ryan. Weren't you going to bed?
I've changed my mind. Since you went to the trouble of preparing everything, I'll freshen up before going to bed.
Where did his earlier bad mood disappear to? Hearing about the business trip seemed to have put him in an oddly good mood. It wasn't just my imagination. And when was the last time I heard him say, "Since you prepared it, Grace"? In the past, I might have been happy to hear those words, but now it only made me suspicious. Could it be? The thought crossed my mind, but there was no evidence, and the trip hadn't even started yet. However, that one fleeting, delighted expression from Ryan was enough to deepen my distrust. In the days leading up to the trip, Ryan kept asking me about the exact return date, reassuring me repeatedly with phrases like, "Don't worry about the house," or "Focus solely on work during your trip," things he normally never said. On the day of the trip, despite his busy schedule, Ryan even took the time to see me off at the station.
Have a good trip. See you Thursday.
He said with a smile, waving as I boarded. As the train left and I settled into my seat, I started replaying Ryan's behavior in my mind. His excitement at hearing about the trip, the frequent late nights, and then Emily's handkerchief in his bag. Emily's handkerchief? No way. Trying to shake off the unpleasant thoughts suddenly filling my head, I stood and made my way to the deck area. I searched my phone contacts for my mom's number and pressed the screen. A voice inside me kept repeating, just in case.
Hello? Who's this?
Hi, it's Grace. Mom?
Oh, Grace, it's rare for you to call. What's going on? Aren't you usually working at this hour?
Actually, I'm on a business trip and just got on the train. I had some free time, so I thought I'd call. I realize I haven't been in touch since my last visit home. You're not sick or anything, right?
I'm fine. A business trip? I'm so jealous. It sounds like a vacation. It must be fun.
It's work, Mom, not sightseeing. You really haven't changed with your love for travel. By the way, how's Emily? Anything unusual?
Emily? She's her usual self. Doing great. Going to work as usual. Oh, but she has today off apparently. It's been noisy since morning, and I woke up earlier than usual because of it.
A day off. Does she have plans to go out with someone? The word off made my chest tighten.
Yeah, she's been getting ready to go somewhere all morning. Looks like she's heading out soon. And oh, she's dressed up more than usual. Maybe she found a new boyfriend?
The phrase, just in case, vanished from my mind, replaced by the sound of my heart pounding louder. Even as I struggled to respond, Mom kept talking, saying things like, I'm so happy she's finally found someone new. I slowly moved the phone away from my ear, feeling Mom's voice fade as the call ended without me realizing it. Leaning against the door, I stared at the screen of my phone, now displaying the disconnected call. After a while, I reopened the call screen and pressed the call button again. That night, after finishing work and returning to my hotel, exhaustion hit me like a concrete block, crushing my entire body. I had focused all my energy on meetings with clients to avoid thinking about Ryan and Emily during the day. There was still no evidence, so there was no point dwelling on it. But my mind worked overtime, desperately trying to piece together anything that could serve as proof. Ryan and Emily? Since when? Are they together even now while I'm sitting here? No. Maybe Emily just happened to dress up for some other reason. And Ryan really might just be busy with work. Then why was he so excited? Why doesn't he worry about me at all? And what about Emily's handkerchief? I thought about calling my mom again, but asking about Emily multiple times in one day would seem suspicious. Even if the two of them were meeting, there's no way Emily would tell Mom the truth. No, this is bad. I might be overthinking everything. I just need to focus on work for now. On Thursday night, after successfully completing my 3-day business trip, I was relaxing on the couch at home. For a change, Ryan had already returned home, and we were spending a rare, peaceful evening together. Was everything okay at home while I was gone?
Yeah, no problems. 3 days felt shorter than I thought.
Really? It felt super long to me. Also, I was relieved to see the house wasn't as messy as I expected. You must be eaten out though, right?
Well, yeah. Mostly fast food. Turns out I managed the housework better than I thought, even without you.
That's good to hear. Oh, by the way, I brought back a famous local snack as a souvenir. Want to have some together? Sure, he replied, so I quickly prepared tea and the snacks. It was rare for the two of us to sit and talk so calmly. I thought this might be a good opportunity to bring up Emily. By the way, what were you up to while I was on my trip?
What else? Work, obviously. Wait. You don't think I was cheating or something, do you?
I was startled to hear the word cheating come out of his mouth. No, that's not it. I was just curious about how you spent your time since I've never been away from home since we got married. Even when I visit my mom, you usually come with me. I casually mentioned my mom, but Ryan's expression didn't change. Speaking of my mom, when I was on the train, I called her for the first time in a while. She told me Emily might have a boyfriend now. I was so surprised. She hasn't shown any interest in men at all since her divorce.
A boyfriend for Emily, huh? Well, if she's taking a new step forward, that's great. Good for her.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Ryan showed no signs of being flustered and continued leisurely munching on the snacks. Seeing how calm he was, I decided not to press the issue any further. A few days later, Ryan told me he was going on a business trip to another state. Unlike mine, his trip was supposed to last much longer. He was excited, saying that if his presentation went well, it could lead to high praise from his superiors and a potential big promotion. Naturally, his excitement seemed to grow as his departure date approached, and he started coming home later than usual, likely due to preparations. I recognized this excitement. It was the same expression he had when I told him about my trip. On the night before his departure, Ryan mentioned that he'd forgotten to buy something and headed to the shop after coming home. Not wanting to miss the chance, I decided to check his suitcase, thinking there must be something. Conveniently, the suitcase was left wide open, making it easy for me to search through. I quickly reached inside to look for evidence, but the contents immediately struck me as strange. Is he really going on a business trip? Hidden inside the suitcase was a travel guidebook, something entirely unnecessary for work. It had multiple sticky notes sticking out, carefully placed for easy access. As I flipped through the pages, I found that the section listing the top-rated restaurants had been circled with a red pen, with a note reading "Reservation, 6:30 p.m." scribbled next to it. Instead of the usual white dress shirts needed for work, there were new, stylish shirts and shoes, complete with tags still attached, as well as a hat that seemed perfect for a resort area. It didn't make any sense for a client meeting to take place at a touristy restaurant, and there weren't any work-related clothes or materials in the suitcase. The work documents he had been so enthusiastic about creating weren't there, nor was the laptop he always used for work. It was as if he was preparing for his vacation with someone. I unconsciously bit my lip, tasting a faint hint of blood in my mouth. With trembling hands, I returned the guidebook to its original spot before Ryan came back, and I quietly left the bedroom. The next morning, Ryan left the house early. Perhaps to avoid suspicion, he was wearing his usual suit and dress shoes instead of the stylish clothes I'd seen in the suitcase the day before. As he walked out the door with his suitcase, confidently heading to his supposed business trip, I glared at his back through the slowly closing door. Clenching my fist tightly, I bottled up the dark feelings that had been festering in my heart. Once the door clicked shut, I immediately made a phone call. To my mom, of course. Since Ryan had left at this time, I figured Emily must have also left, and I wanted to confirm this with my mom. But no matter how long I waited, there was no answer. Maybe Mom's still asleep? Not wanting to disturb her if that was the case, I hung up for the time being. Although I was eager to uncover the truth about Ryan and Emily, I had work to do that day. So I decided to try calling again during my lunch break. With that, I shifted my focus back to getting ready for work. Little did I know, I was about to discover the truth about Ryan and Emily in an unexpected way. Later that morning, as I was preparing materials for an upcoming meeting, my personal phone rang. Hello?
Hello, this is Harper Hospital. Am I speaking to Grace Thomas, the wife of Ryan Thomas?
A hospital? Why was a hospital calling? And about Ryan, of all people? Yes, that's me. Has something happened to Ryan?
We'll explain the details when you arrive at the hospital, but he's been injured, and we need you to come as soon as possible.
According to the caller, Ryan had slipped while walking by the pool at the hotel, breaking a bone and being rushed to the local hospital. Apparently, his life wasn't in danger. I explained the situation to my boss and hurried to the hospital. On the way, I called Ryan's company. If this really was his business trip, they should have been informed about his hospitalization. Excuse me for interrupting. This is Grace Thomas, Ryan Thomas' wife. I need to confirm something regarding my husband's hospitalization during his business trip.
Well, I'm not sure I understand. Ryan was hospitalized during his business trip. There must be some kind of mistake.
What do you mean by mistake?
Ryan submitted a vacation request to us. We didn't assign him any business trip, and he mentioned he'd be traveling with his wife.
Ryan's boss sounded confused, and a mix of anger and disappointment swelled inside me. I see. Thank you for your time. I'll reach out again later. After ending the call, I exhaled deeply, trying to calm myself. As I suspected, Ryan had lied about a business trip and gone on a vacation instead. And not only that, but he had told his company he was traveling with me and even submitted a vacation request to cover it. My anger was boiling inside me, but the fact remained that Ryan had broken his leg and was hospitalized. Driven by the faint remnants of my conscience, I hurried to the hospital, worrying about Ryan as I went. The hospital where Ryan was admitted was about 2 hours from the city center. This area was a popular resort destination, and on the train ride there, I saw plenty of couples and families who seemed ready to create happy memories. But in my current state, I couldn't muster the energy to find their excitement heartwarming. After arriving at the hospital entrance, I quickly checked in and received a visitor's badge. I hung it around my neck and headed toward Ryan's hospital room, guided by the nurse. Placing my hand on the door, I took a deep breath to steady myself and slowly opened it. Ryan and Emily. As expected, my sister Emily was sitting beside Ryan's bed in a folding chair. Ryan, meanwhile, had his right leg wrapped in bandages and suspended in the air. Looking at his face, I noticed a bruise on his forehead that had turned from blue to black, peeking out from under a bandage. It looked painful. Despite his severe injuries, he seemed capable of talking. To end up like this. How pathetic, Ryan.
That's the first thing you say to your injured husband. No words of concern at all?
Let me ask you this. Why would you expect me to be concerned? Who was it that didn't even ask if I was okay when I had a fever?
I was busy with work. How could I have known you were sick?
Apparently, Ryan had no memory of me asking for help with groceries or of his snide remarks about me relying on him too much.
Now's not the time to bring that up, is it? Look at this huge injury. The bandages are making my whole body itch like crazy. Hurry up and wipe me down. Taking care of your husband is your duty as a wife, isn't it?
Ryan was clearly frustrated. And understandably so. Breaking a leg and becoming immobile during his vacation with Emily wasn't something he had planned for. Absolutely not. I'm exhausted from working every day too. Besides, there's no way I'm taking care of a husband who doesn't even worry about his wife when she's sick. I have no obligation to you anymore.
What did you say?
Ryan, now reaching his peak irritation, lashed out and tried to grab me. But with his lower body immobilized due to the fracture, he lost his balance and fell off the bed. The impact must have sent sharp pain through his right leg because his scream echoed throughout the hospital. Hearing the commotion, several nurses rushed into the room. "What happened here?" one of the nurses asked Emily and me. I simply looked down at Ryan with a cold glare. As the nurses worked to lift Ryan back onto the bed and tend to his injury again, I continued confronting him. "You say it's a wife's duty to care for her husband? After you cheated on me with my sister, you have the nerve to say that?" I shouted loud enough for everyone in the room to hear and pulled out several photos from my bag, thrusting them in front of Ryan and Emily. The nurses, visibly shocked, glanced between the photos, Ryan and Emily. Yes, it all started on the day I told Ryan about my business trip. His overly cheerful demeanor and Emily's suspicious behavior kept gnawing at me. After calling my mom, I hired a private investigator to monitor Ryan and Emily during the 3 days I was away. The results, as you can see, were damning. The photos clearly captured Ryan meeting Emily in front of a hotel and the two of them walking inside together. Being exposed in front of the nurses seemed to hit Emily hard, and she began to panic. Shaking her head vigorously, she stammered in a trembling voice, revealing a shocking truth.
No, it's not me. The real person isn't me."
With that, she walked over to the bed next to Ryan's and pulled open the curtain. As soon as I saw who was behind the curtain, it felt like it'd been struck by a blunt object. Why is Mom in this bed? Lying on the bed was unmistakably my mom, Clara. She was in even worse condition than Ryan, with both of her legs suspended from the ceiling. What's going on? Why is Mom here?
"Grace, calm down and listen. I'll explain everything."
Seeing how confused I was, Emily seemed to regain her composure and slowly began to explain.
"Ryan's affair partner isn't me. The real person he's been involved with is Mom."
Hearing Emily's words, I felt the blood drain from my entire body. The shock was so overwhelming that I couldn't form any words. Ryan. And my mom?
"It wasn't me who went on a trip with Ryan. It was Mom. While they were walking by the pool, Ryan slipped and fell. Mom rushed to help him but ended up slipping badly herself. That's why they were both brought here."
My own mom. Dating with my husband. I never thought I'd hear something so horrifying in my life. I couldn't believe it.
"We tried to make sure you wouldn't find out. But after Dad passed away, Mom fell into a deep depression. Even after I moved back home after my divorce, she would cry every day about how lonely she was. When you and Ryan came to visit, seeing how close you two were must be made her envious. Eventually, she couldn't resist anymore. Without me knowing, she exchanged contact information with Ryan behind your back."
I don't want to hear any more excuses. So, you knew everything from the beginning, didn't you, Emily? A mom having an affair with her daughter's husband. It's beyond normal. Why didn't you tell me?
"Because once things got serious between Mom and Ryan, they begged me to help cover for them. They even asked me to make it look like I was the one having the affair in case you found out. I couldn't say no."
You couldn't say no? Did you even consider how I would feel?
"I had just gotten divorced, and I sympathized with Mom more than I did with you. I felt sorry for her being alone, and after she started seeing Ryan, she stopped crying. It made things easier for me too."
How selfish could these people be? I couldn't believe that such selfish, inconsiderate people were my family. And Ryan, whose sense of morality was so twisted that he didn't even flinch at having an affair with his wife's mother. My relationship with Ryan had been destroyed, and my feelings trampled on, all to ease my mom's loneliness. Emily had even orchestrated an elaborate cover-up to fool the private investigator, just in case they were caught. They no longer felt like family to me.
Oh, and this.
Emily said, pulling a voice recorder out of her pocket.
I recorded this to prove I wasn't involved.
When she pressed play, a recording of Ryan and Mom talking at the hotel played, followed by the two of them gleefully bad-mouthing me and venting their frustrations. It was undoubtedly their voices. Emily must have prepared this recording in case she was ever accused of being involved, to clear her name. Suddenly, Ryan, who had been silent until now, started shouting.
That old hag forced herself on me. I told her no so many times, but every time I went to your house, she clung to me until I had no choice.
Mom, now enraged, fired back.
You're the one who said older woman was more attractive than your younger wife. Don't you dare lie. Stop acting so smug just because you're a little younger.
They began arguing, each blaming the other. But at this point, I didn't care who initiated it.
I'm leaving now. I've got work to do. This has nothing to do with me anymore. Good luck, Grace.
Emily said coldly, standing up and grabbing her bag. Wait, Emily. You're not innocent. You're just as guilty.
What?
I won't forgive Mom and Ryan for betraying me, and they'll pay for what they've done. But Emily, you knew about it and helped them cover it up. That makes you just as responsible. Get ready, because I'll be demanding compensation from you too. All three of you will regret betraying and deceiving me for the rest of your lives. A few days later, I had the private investigator dig deeper and discovered that on the same days Ryan used the hotel, Mom would visit him, timing her arrival to avoid being seen. At the same time, I proceeded with the divorce from Ryan. Using the voice recordings Emily had made as evidence, I successfully demanded a substantial amount in compensation from both Ryan and Mom. Later, I found out the reason for Emily's divorce. She had been unfaithful herself. In hindsight, it all made sense. She was capable of such behavior. Apparently, her ex-husband had demanded alimony, and she was struggling financially. Mom had offered to lend her money on the condition that Emily play the role of a decoy for their affair. Even now, years after their divorce, Emily still hasn't moved on. She's been trying to reconcile with her ex-husband, but he has firmly rejected her advances. Though he's technically my former brother-in-law, I can't help but feel sorry for him. I hope he finds someone better and has a much happier future. As for Ryan, his recovery from the injury was quicker than expected, and he was discharged shortly after the incident at the hospital. He had plenty of energy for yelling in the hospital room, so it's no surprise his physical condition improved quickly. Though he returned to work, his position at the company took a significant hit. Word about his affair with his mother-in-law spread throughout the office, leading to his demotion and transfer to a small branch in a remote area. Even there, the rumors followed him, and he now faces daily humiliation. Once admired and respected, Ryan is now a shadow of his former self, completely worn down. As much as people say rumors eventually fade, I hope this particular one about Ryan's scandal lingers forever. Mom is now wheelchair-bound, unable to use her legs, and lives under Ryan's care. Her days are filled with enduring both public shame and Ryan's frustration. Could there be a more fitting example of reaping what you sow? I've decided to sever ties with my family completely. From now on, I won't involve myself in their lives, nor will I check in on them. After my divorce, I focused on work and distanced myself from relationships and marriage for a while. Recently, however, I've grown close to the CEO of my business partner company, and we've decided to get married. This time, I believe I'll finally have a long-lasting, truly happy life.